Hello, everyone. CD, thank you for the 42nd. How's it going? Live now. I thought about going live earlier, but I wanted to wait a little bit to see if this was actually going anywhere. Violet, thank you for the 39th. So, I will give people a moment to funnel in. Weeping, thank you for the 31st. Jand with 6 months in advance. Sam with 37 months. Thank you. Thank you. Am I behind you guys? You said she was called to the DR, but I'm still watching them. I'm going to refresh this real quick. Oh, yeah, look at that. I think sometimes if you haven't refreshed in a while, you start to run behind. Kiara, thank you for the 3 months in advance. I appreciate these advances. I thank you for the second. JT with 74. Amy with 3 months in advance. Thank you, thank you. A little bit of a hype train running right now. Okay. Maybe a little bit more. A little bit more time, and then we'll kind of do a quick recap. Chrissy, thank you for the 100 bits. So typically they will advertise an endurance competition to us ahead of time. Asia, thank you for gifting a sub. Okay, bad. Welcome to Robot Army. Morgan, thank you for 300 bits. Mr. with 5 gifted subs.
Wow, a 5!
Thank you. Make sure you thank Mr. for that generosity. Marlden gifting a sub. We used to do hype trains all the time. I feel like we haven't in a while. Yeah, Stockwatch choices right now are quite wild. Jay gifting a sub. Thank you, Jay. There's honestly so many possibilities for how many directions we could go. Skull, thank you for gifting. There are some very generous people in the chat for sure. If you want to avoid the ads, you can subscribe. Help support the channel and you avoid the ads. All right. Let's Breezy, thank you for the third. Look at these endorsements. Subbing is so worth it, says Shelly. Thank you. Sally, thank you for the 20th. Lauren with 12. Call me with 9. Melancholy gifting a sub. I do think I could be wrong about this. But let me tell you, it feels to me like I have a lot of people who are like longtime subscribers. Blurbs with 25. Maybe, see what I mean? Like maybe 62 months. Carson, 46 months. C-Mac, welcome. I think that like I remember when I started, and like the most common thing by far was like, hey, welcome to the Robot Army. But like now I feel like the most common thing is like, hey, Becky, thanks for the 44 months. Hey, Steph, thanks for 71 months. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're all just old now, I guess. But I appreciate the loyalty. All right. Let's talk this through. So, I assume most of you have listened to the update by now. Sweet Tooth 38, thank you. If you haven't, the basics of that is that T-Core and Chemo in particular, has been pushing to flip the vote in the event. Let me pull up the graphic. In the event that Rubina and Cedric end up on the block together, so that they save Rubina and take out Cedric. Chemo was pushing this. T-Core was very hesitant. T-Core woke up this morning and decided, you know what? Screw it. I'm in. And so they had decided, okay, we need to go talk to Joseph and Leah. Snake, thank you for the 47th. So this is why. And we've done this a lot, but like because of AI Arena and the way this season works, like we've been doing a lot of vote counting. But here's how the votes lay out. If Cedric and Rubina are on the block together, Tucker, Chemo, and T-Core are a guaranteed 3 votes. You need 5. There are 9 votes total because Quinn is not voting, apparently. And neither is Angela. So there's 9 votes. You need 5 to win the day. They have 3. Oh, I think we just went to pets. Nope, that was temporary. They have 3 votes. They need 2 more. They haven't really talked to MJ. So in their minds, the other 2 are Joseph and Leah. Remo, thank you for the 15th. In addition to that, they would like to make the move with the approval of Joseph and Leah and have those people like on their side. Lena!
Wow, a 5.
Thank you for gifting 5 subs. Make sure you thank Lena for that generosity. So, in their minds, Joseph, who sounded like he might be interested before, needs to be talked to. Leah, who is a crucial swing vote, needs to be talked to. Leah should be on board. We know that it's not really in Joseph's interests to flip. We know that he's expressed some hesitancy in the past. So Joseph is the biggest obstacle here. But he's not really necessary to make the flip happen because they can probably get MJ. They just haven't really thought about it yet. So that's kind of where we were this morning. Chemo approached Joseph with 6 months in advance. Thank you. Chemo approached Joseph this morning and Joseph again was kind of like, that feels a little soon to me. We need to be very careful about this. Cedric might win the AI Arena competition anyway. Arctic, thank you for the 3rd. And feeds went down. That was basically it. Then they came back up recently, and Chemo was ranting. He was pissed. Like, nobody cares about us in this game. They're all having a good time. I'm not going to be able to hide this. And like in the middle of the rant, Joseph came up and was like, actually, I've been thinking about it. I might be down. I'm not sure why, because as I said, I don't really think it benefits Joseph to do this. I have a couple of guesses. The primary one being that Joseph thought about it and realized that Chemo and T-Core have the votes to do this anyway, or might have the votes to do it anyway. And my suspicion is that if it does happen, he doesn't want to be unknowingly on the other side of it. He doesn't want to have turned it down. He just wants to be in the know. And he realized that they might have the votes anyway. So basically what he told Tikor and Chemo is that, hey, if you guys can get the vote for this, if you guys can get the votes for this, tell me at the last second and I'll hop on board. So again, my sort of interpretation of this was that like Joseph agreeing to do it was like, Kristen, thank you for the 50-second, was kind of like a more elaborate way of saying, well, I want to vote with the House. Like, hey, if you end up being the House, I'm with you. If you're not the House, George, thank you for the third. So that's what Joseph said. Like, hey, if you get MJ and Leah, let me know. So then they were like, okay. And I figured at that point, okay, they're going to go get MJ and Leah. But then they spent another like 20 minutes talking to themselves. And then Tikor is apparently called to the DR. So, I mean, listen, there's still some time. But not that much time. There's 3 hours until the live show. And I imagine they'll have some sort of lockdown in there as well. For more rehearsal and stuff. So like they're cutting it close. And I feel like part of me has realized I think that Chemo and Tikor, at least Chemo, they're definitely passive players, but I think more than anything, they're just procrastinators. They literally just like, their project was due today, and last night they were like, oh, we haven't done any work yet on it. And there's like a chance that the teacher doesn't ask for it, but like, if MJ wins AI Arena, they're definitely going to ask for the projects. And we haven't done any work. We're going to lose Rubina. So now they're like trying to cram it all into one night, into one day right before, like at the very last second. And they've made it so much harder on themselves. They're still complaining about Quinn nominating Rubina, when quite honestly, I would lay that blame on their feet more than Quinn at this point. But they're doing it now. Newbie, thank you for the 20th. I feel like they've put themselves in a bad spot, but they are trying now to get themselves out of it. Not in the most efficient way, but in a way. But there's obviously a lot of risk involved. Because if MJ doesn't win the AI Arena, she's safe. Cedric is safe. Or sorry, Cedric is safe anyway. And what happens then, right? Like, who wins HOH? Hold on, Rubina. No, she's not doing anything. Just talking about clothes. But they haven't talked to Quinn at all. And they still haven't talked to MJ. And now, let me tell you, on the other side of things. Okay, thank you for gifting. Chelsea and Brooklyn should be talking to MJ. Hey, if you win AI Arena, who are you voting for? If they could lock an MJ vote in, this doesn't happen. And they could. I literally think, even now, all they would need to do is talk to MJ and lock her vote in. And I don't think MJ flips. Like, if Chemo and T-Core pull this off, it is entirely because Chelsea and Brooklyn allowed it to happen. It's such a fumble. I mean, it's fumbles everywhere, but like, and that's why I think Chemo's rhetoric of like, we need to take this opportunity when we can is so powerful, because like, yeah, when the opponent gives you an opportunity, you take it. Because you never know when they'll realize that they've made a mistake and shore up their defenses. So it's weird. Now, for Joseph, a lot of people are like, well, does it make sense for Joseph to do this? It definitely doesn't make sense for Joseph to be seen as like the swing vote part of this, right? That's why I think he's telling them, if you can get MJ and Leah, because I think what Joseph plans to do, and it feels pretty obvious to me, but what Joseph, I think, to me, clearly plans to do is say to Brooklyn, Chelsea, Cam, even Quinn, hey, T-Core and Chemo approached me literally at the last second after the AI Arena competition. They said, hey, we already have the votes. And they did. They had MJ and Leah, which meant they had the votes with or without me. And they said, you can get on board or you can vote against us. And knowing that they had the votes, I just went with it. It was chaotic. It was confusing. But I knew the votes weren't there. He could even like try to warn them, give them some eyes, maybe be like, hey, Tico and Chemo were just talking to me. And they were saying that the votes are there to keep Rubina. But basically, there's a way out for him that's a little better. The worst thing for his game would be for him to be the swing vote. Because then he just loses the rest of the other side of the house, and he's stuck on a side of the house that he's on the bottom of. What Joseph wants to do is to continue to have two sides battling it out with him in the middle, right? Because he just doesn't have strong enough connections. McDerp, thank you for the 33rd. And so even with this going through, it's not the greatest for him because it really cripples one side. If Cedric leaves and say, you know, Tucker wins HOH and targets the rest of the collective and or Pentagon, and then Cam or Quinn leaves, and now all of a sudden it's literally just like a couple people on the other side of the house, like Tucker's maneuvering capabilities start to look a lot more limited. If MJ leaves, that's so much better for him. If Rubina leaves, that's actually also really good for him because Rubina leaving frees up Tucker. It limits the power of T-Core and Chemo, but they're still very formidable with Tucker and Quinn still on their side. And then there's a strong opposition there as well in Chelsea, Brooklyn, Cam, and Cedric. And in the middle of everything is him, right? So he's in a really good spot if Rubina leaves. But if the votes aren't there, no matter what happens, and he can't really take like a firm control over this vote, or he might lose that spot, then he has to just kind of jump to whichever side works out. I would say there's a very good chance, yes. So if Cedric stays, so if MJ leaves, Cedric stays, and Pentagon wins HOH, that could be very dangerous for T-Core and Chemo because the pawns that would be used would be people like Leah, Rubina, Angela. And if Leah is in the conversation to be used as a pawn, and she's trying to cozy up to whoever's HOH, you'd better believe she's going to be talking all kinds of stuff about how T-Core and Chemo were approaching her about flipping the vote against Cedric. And they could then throw Quinn under the bus, but Quinn could correctly deny any knowledge of flipping on Cedric. And at the end of the day, they still kind of have to target Tucker. And so, like, if I'm Pentagon, I'm not targeting Quinn. I'm targeting, as a backup to Tucker, I'm not targeting Quinn. No way. Like, if Tucker's definitely staying, there's no way I'm taking out Quinn for him. So instead, I'm taking out Rubina or T-Core and Chemo. I have to take out one of those, and probably T-Core and Chemo, because they're a more dangerous pair at that point, socially. All bets, thank you for the 61st. But hey, that's assuming that people play optimally according to me. So, you know, this house, all over the place. Brooklyn wants Angela gone, yes, but I don't think that they focus on that. If they find out T-Core and Chemo tried to flip on Cedric, they recognize the existential threat that is the remnants of the Underdog Alliance. And they leave Angela alone. I think they leave Quinn alone, and I think they go straight at the heart of that alliance because they have to. There's no other choice. You know, granted, again, they're not exactly playing optimally, but so honestly, I think like the way I would probably do it if I were in T-Core and Chemo's spot right now. Is let Tucker approach Leah and MJ again and get like super confirmation from them that they're voting out Cedric. And then if they come to you to confirm, and they can tell Tucker to tell them that they can confirm with T-Core and Chemo if they want. And then they can confirm if they need to, but also just like in the last minute scramble, just start being like, hey, I think the numbers aren't there. Tucker saying he has the numbers. I think maybe, are people like just pull a level 6? We got so confused, we forgot what the plan was. We thought we were still doing sympathy votes. And then just accidentally, Cedric got voted out. That's our bad. That's our bad. We screwed up. We really thought sympathy votes. I know you said no to sympathy votes, but like, we really want to do sympathy votes. I'm not saying this is what they're going to do. I'm saying this is what I might do. Just act like really embarrassed. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. Like, Tucker was really, really drilling in on me right before the vote, and I just got so scared that he was going to come for me if I didn't give the sympathy vote, and I didn't realize that he already had those other votes. I'm such an idiot. Oh my God. Will they believe it? Probably not. Is it enough for a little bit of doubt? A little bit of plausible deniability? Maybe. Wage, thank you for the 6th. Or sorry, thank you for the 6 months in advance. Oh, and sorry, I forgot the purpose of that. The purpose of that was that if MJ then doesn't win the AI comp, they have way more plausible deniability, which is, yeah, Tucker thought we had the votes, but we were lying to Tucker. As opposed to them approaching Leah ahead of time and being like, listen, Leah, we have to take control of the game. Sorry, I got lost in my own little story there. Forgot the purpose of why I was saying it. They're not voting Cedric over MJ because that just puts them in a bad spot for no reason. MJ doesn't do anything for them. They have no relationship with her. If they save MJ for Cedric, if they take out Cedric for MJ, that just gives MJ all the power. Because then MJ can feel free to just like move back and forth, essentially. Oh. No. So can Rubina, yes, but Rubina is still attached to Tucker. It is, now I will say, it is dangerous. Like, Tucker is still dangerous to them. Tucker's just so bad at the game that it's probably not a big deal. But there is a chance that this move is basically just them throwing their games away for Tucker if it goes bad. But that requires Tucker being able to take advantage of the situation and him probably still winning a few comps. So we'll see. The HOH is going to be very important. The twist might be very important. They still need to talk to Leah. There might be a last-minute scramble. I'll be back in a couple hours for the episode. There's a good chance that the feeds are going to cut before we know any of this. So stay tuned. And I'll be back. I'll be back for the episode. Then, of course, recap. Make sure you get your stock watch picks in. And see you guys during the episode.